The Senate has succumbed to pressure from within and outside when it reached a resolution to suspend any further legislative action on the contentious tax reform bills forwarded to it by President Bola Tinubu. The Senate consequently set up a 10-man committee to meet with the Attorney General and Minister of Justice on ways to resolve contentious issues in the bills. Arise correspondent Omo Bazwaye tells us more.
Senate returns to plenary on Wednesday, still weighed down by the controversies the proposed tax reform bills have in the last few weeks generated across the country.
You can use the gavel, and I will use my voice.
The strongest pushback to the tax bills has come from the north, with Senator Ali Ndume from Borno State leading the pack in the Senate. Outside of the Senate, powerful voices like the Governors Forum and the National Economic Council have picked holes in the bills, applying pressure for them to be withdrawn for wider consultations. On Wednesday, Senate, in a complete U-turn from its previous tough stance on the matter last week when it passed the bill for second reading, caved in to the pressure and suspends further action on the tax bills.
We extended our view to the executive arm of government, and it was agreed that there should be a forum to sit down to look at the areas that are creating disagreements in order to resolve them, so that the entire country will remain united in our effort to solve our problems.
To enforce his resolution, Senate mandates its Committee on Finance to stop forthwith its planned public hearing on the tax bills.
It's on this note that the Committee on Finance that the bills have been referred to should halt action on public hearing and other issues until we resolve these issues.
It then set up a 10-man committee with Senate Minority Leader Abba Moro as chairman to liaise with the Attorney General and Minister of Justice to eliminate the contentious clauses in the tax bills.
There should be a forum that will sit with the Attorney General of the Federation so that we can sit and look at all the areas of disagreement and resolve them for the interest of this nation. It is therefore proposed that by tomorrow, there will be a meeting with the committee that will set up here and the leadership to sit down with the Attorney General to look at those issues and resolve them.
The VAT sharing formula has been a major source of conflict. The other stumbling block to the tax bill has been alleged hidden agenda, especially in the timing and the haste with which the tax bills have been pushed through. Omo Bazwaye, Arise News.
Now, the ethno-religious reaction in the National Assembly to the now suspended tax reform bill seems to have opened another door for a lot of people to resurrect the matter of restructuring in Nigeria. It has been a mixture of victim mentality on the one side and a call by others for Nigerians to rise above primordial sentiment to appreciate the good side of the bills. Arise News analyst Dayo Sobowale joins us now to discuss why this national debate is a unique one. Welcome to the show, Mr. Sobowale, compliment of the season. Let's get straight.
Yes,
let's get into it. First, I want to know what your thoughts are about the bills in general, the four of them. And also, I want you to react to Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum, who has remained very vocal about these tax reforms impoverishing the North, while Lagos State will be the major and only beneficiary.
Well, you have mentioned that no religious sentiment, and that's what this is at play now. As you know, as at now, it's bitter to refer to that. You have a Muslim ticket presidency. So, and the North is Muslim. So the feeling they have is that they run the show and that they put this present president in place so they can always blow the whistle on him, which is what they are doing. But you see, like they mentioned Zulum, that's the governor of Borno State, and the vice president. You see, hitherto, the formula for distributing revenue has been 50% on equal basis,
Yes.
30% on population, and I think 20% or so on derivation. But that formula now is being rejigged. You get me? And that is what they are crying foul over, especially the one on equality and the one on population. They have forgotten that we have a very questionable population figures for this country. No census has been conducted that anybody has ever, even right from 62, when Baliwa himself tried to conduct, when we conducted the census, he cancelled it. Because when they added up the population for East and West together, it was more than that of the North. So that is still at the root of all this agitation or seeming disenchantment with the reforms. They are, like you put there in your write-up, primordial, they are political, and they are against the spirit of the reform, which the last time we discussed here, I was talking that is based on equity, diversity, and inclusion. You see, you can't have a system which is lopsided, and you can't rejig it, because some people think they are bigger, some people who are part of the whole think they are bigger than the whole. It's illogical, it's a fallacy. I'm happy the president or the executive part of the separation of powers has said it will pause a while and allow for more input to be put into it, which is a democratic system. And we are still doing fine. If you listen around the world, you see what is happening in South Korea. The man declared martial law, and now they want to impeach him. You know what is going on in Georgia after election. So this is, to me, I won't say it is uncalled for. It is needed, but you see, we are in a republic where we practice democracy. The minority will have a say, the majority will have its way. And government is government elected by the people, and that's the executive arm of government. The legislature, the government is to make laws and approve whatever is suggested to them. And so far, they have started on it, before some people threw in some brickbats at the system. But I'm sure the system will see itself through. Let's leave it at that for now.
Awesome, Mr. Sobowale.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about the Balancing Act. I know you've probably delved into the intricacies of these reform bills. When we look at our current economic realities of our country, how do these reforms balance revenue generation with protecting the purchasing power of economically stressed citizens?
That is the stated aim of the reforms. That you see, by widening the revenue base for taxation and by reducing the tax burden on the poor man, they will still be able to generate more revenue and be able to provide social services. Because at the end of the day, it is the people who are the engine room of growth. Like you rightly mentioned, their purchasing power matters. And it has to go up. And like the World Bank said at a meeting, you see, we must find a way of making inclusion possible for the low-income group to eradicate poverty, because they are the engine room of economic growth. That is stated in this reform, and I think that's what the taxman is trying to put across. But you see, when people are jaundiced, are blinded by sentiments and bias and arrogance, I dare say, and they think if things do not go their way, the heavens will fall. They will not fall. It's a democracy. Let's go on.
And now there's a 10-man committee that has been, of course, created, and more time for them to be able to further examine these tax reforms. And every time we look at, moments like this where outdated laws or these reforms presents an opportunity for Nigeria to, of course, align with global best practices. Do you think that this stakeholder engagement, this 10-man community, addressing, I guess, public concerns and understanding what the bill is going to be enough time? There's going to be enough time for them to accept this bill and let it go into implementation?
See, it's not a time factor issue now. It's almost becoming a security issue, the way they are trying to push it. I hope not. And I hope it don't lead to political instability or things like that. So that's why the executive, it is right of the executive to present bill and for them to look at it, which is what they are doing. It's a political process, legislative process. I'm sure with the consensus and the give and take they are trying to do, to see the bill will see its way through.
All right then, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Mr. Sobowale, it's always a pleasure having you and, of course, your submissions on Newsday. Thank you so much for being here.